Cal, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? Tor, good to see you as well. Evening. How you doing? Joe, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Morning. I mean evening, sorry. So, on today's live show, we have quite a bit of news to go through regarding what's happening in terms of regulations, regarding what's happening in terms of Congress moving forward essentially on this basis. Also, CZ going to prison. He's apparently walking into prison now as we speak, or walked into prison about an hour ago or so. And we also have, so on tonight's live show, we're talking about a mixture of news and we'll go through a gist of what we're going to talk about. And by that time, everyone's tuned in for the first part of the live show. So, first of all, we're going to talk about on tonight's live show regarding Senator Luminous essentially sending a letter to Joe Biden regarding cryptocurrency regulations. Then we're going to talk about US Senator Wyden regarding the right to pursue crypto bills in the late season for more progress. Then we're going to be talking about Binance CEO CZ. He's about to be walking into prison. Then we're going to be talking about Ripple's CEO, how Ripple's CEO is essentially predicting a mixture of ETFs are on the way, according to Brad. Then we're going to be talking about Coinbase and how Coinbase essentially has now submitted their new documentation for the SEC versus Coinbase case. We're going to go through what Coinbase has said and how the SEC is wrong, as usual. Then we're going to be going through Franklin Templeton. Franklin Templeton has essentially filed in their documentations for their S1, for their Ethereum ETF. And now we have some sort of an idea of how much they're going to be charging on Ethereum ETFs, which is 0.19%. Why is this good to know that they're charging 0.19%? Because it's a very cheap fee, which means a lot more volume is going to be coming in towards the Ethereum ETFs if they do charge cheaper fees. Because the Bitcoin fees were about 0.25% or 0.20%. This is coming in at 0.19%. It's a good start. Then we're going to be talking about essentially Volo Labs. There's essentially a blockchain project called Volo Labs. They've already raised about $22 million. They don't have a token. They're an AI project, but it's for cancer treatments as well. So we go through that as well. If Volo Labs does introduce something somewhere down the line, it's definitely a project to keep your eye on. Also, we're going to be talking about essentially the Japanese market space when it comes to cryptocurrencies on this live show as well, because that's the reason the market slightly dipped today, but survived. It was because of the hack that happened in the Japanese market and the amount of Bitcoin that was stolen. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding Hong Kong's government and how they're going full, essentially, ahead with all types of regulations in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is becoming a very strict market space, but it's trying to make the crypto space a mature place. Then we're going to be going through Tradeify, essentially. Tradeify executives say crypto derivatives will play a longer role in Bitcoin's future, regarding some perspectives on executives on the matter of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Then we're going to be going through on tonight's live show regarding the president of essentially the New York Stock Exchange NYSE Group President, Lynn Martin, has decided to come out and give her perspectives on the ETF matters. Then we're going to be going through on tonight's live show regarding France and how France is positioning itself as a global leader in artificial intelligence. Then we're going to be talking about on tonight's live show regarding how Ripple utilizes XRP for cross-border payments. The topic of Ripple and how some people still, till this day, believe it or not, inside the crypto sector say Ripple will never use XRP or Ripple doesn't care about XRP. Well, Ripple today released a document on their own website, which I'll post it inside a Telegram group after the live show, where Ripple posted a document on their own. Essentially, they wrote a blog, let's say an article blog type of section of or documents on how they will essentially be utilizing XRP step by step. Then we're going to be talking about Ripple's stablecoin and how Brad says essentially that USDT is useless and so is USDC, ironically, and that Ripple stablecoin is better than both of them, is what Brad says. But quite a lot of mixture of news to go through. At the end, we'll go through the Ripple news, so everybody's tuned in for that one. But yeah, big news to go through on tonight's live show. But the first news I'm going to start off with is the Senator Luminous one. And by the time we get to the Ripple one, everyone's tuned in for the live show. So, but before we go through any of that, first of all, welcome to the CMF live show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF live show. Essentially, we talk about how the world is evolving into a digital space. We talk about recent news that's happening. We talk about cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, regulations, politics, AI, and we do Q&As as well, which means you ask the questions, I give you the answers, and I answer everybody's comments one by one. In other words, I read everybody's comments one by one. Don't leave anyone behind. So, welcome to the CMF live show. And a disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. But before we go through the first part of the news, let's go inside the comment section first. Where was I? Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? What's up, brother Miles at CMF? Billo, good to see you as well. How you doing? Tor, frustrated with the downside of today. I'll explain why we had a downside today. Hello, Miles. How you doing today? Your parents, your business ventures? Business going very well. Thanks so much for asking, Scott. My family's doing very well as well. How you doing, Scott? Good evening, Miles and all CMF. How was your day? It was good. How's your day? How's your day, JP? Messi, good to see you as well. How you doing? XRP news? Yes, we have two, but we'll go at the end. Hello, CMF. I hope everyone had a good day. My first grandson graduated today from high school. Proud. Let's go, Scott. Scott, congratulations on your grandson for essentially graduating from high school. That's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's go, Scott. Hey, CMF and Miles, y'all been buying XRP pin this dip. As in, we've been purchased XRP in this dip. Always, I know I'm always going for it. Stormy, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Miles and all CMF. Iman, good to see you as well. How you doing? Iman, how's everyone doing today? I'm doing great. How you doing, brother? If Biden doesn't veto on Monday, I believe crypto will pump the next day. Possibility, yes. The last few days, I have had students graduating from each of the 7 local high schools. I teach at high schools that students have to apply to be admitted. Okay, Scott. Pure, let's go. How you doing? Evening. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Sam, good to see you as well. How you doing? Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening. I've had a great academic day, and yesterday and today. I did not attend the last graduation today, so I could participate tonight. Let's go, Scott. Lena, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, Miles and CMF. Pierce, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, brother. Hello, everyone. Thompson, good to see you as well. How you doing? I am doing well today. Thanks for asking, Miles. Let's go, Scott. Thompson, let's go. So many people are frustrated asking when is the bull run? It already started, but not in a historical type of event. Yes, it's true. We're technically in one. We're technically in a bull run, but it's a very manipulated bull run due to, as I said, what I said previously, essentially. I said that the more executives, the more directors, the more institutions that come inside the crypto space, essentially, is what I said, expect a lot more manipulation, but also expect a lot more money. We're getting the money at fast pace, and then it's slowed down, and now we're getting the money at a much more slower pace, but the manipulation is coming in heavy as well. It's something that I said a while ago before any of this started, but we're technically in one. It's just a very manipulated scenario. Is it certainly good historical way? Yeah. Is it certainly great to be with you all? Let's go, Thompson. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Dazzle, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been, Dazzle? What do you think about the VRA and SDEX? I don't know what their recent developments are, to be fair. I don't know if they've ventured out to new partnerships or anything like that. So I have to look into them to give you a better perspective. So I don't know what their recent developments are. Jason, good to see you. How you doing? Evening as well. So Scott, I'll take a look at them after the live show. No problem. I need to see what their recent developments are before I can give you a better perspective. So the first news on tonight's live show is from Senator Luminous. Senator Luminous sends a letter to Biden urging no veto for SAB 121. Republican Senator Cynthia Luminous has sent a letter to President Joe Biden imploring him not to veto the recent, essentially, congressional repeal of the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC staff accounting Bulletin 121, which is affects the banking space mostly, but the banks do have quite a lot of money that can bring inside the crypto sector. The pro-crypto senator pointed to the continuous nature of the SAB and the SEC's issuance of the guidance, which she categorized as improper. In other words, calling Gary Gensler incompetent. She also noted the dubious nature under which the regulator reviewed the guidance. By inappropriately issuing guidance instead of engaging in notice and comment rulemaking, the SEC's rulemaking was able to essentially avoid a vote by the full commission on the continuous policy, the lawmaker wrote. In a very simple way, Senator Cynthia Luminis has just basically said that Gary Gensler, made up his own rules and went ahead with it, not asking the rest of the Congress essentially to have a, speech about it, have a vote about it, have a, discuss the topic. Instead, Gary Gensler, as usual, decided to take things in his own hands, and that never goes well. The Wyoming senator continued, it also provided SEC staff a pathway to avoid notice and comment provisions of the Administration and Procedures Act, which prevented stakeholders, including the banking regulators, from being able to comment on the policy, which is true, because the SEC is coming out with rules that does affect the banking sector, and the banking sector had no sort of voice about it, which is odd. She concluded her letter by noting the SEC's chairman, Gary Gensler's refusal regarding the rule and the clear, essentially, message Congress sent to government agencies by voting to repeal the SAB 121 Act. The SEC's highly controversial bulletin was set to take effect on April 11th, 2024, but was met with considerable, essentially, blowback from the crypto community and lawmakers alike. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives voted to repeal the SEC's guidance by a margin of 228 to 182. And passed the bill to the Senate. Once there, senators echoed the House voice and essentially elected to repeal the SAB 121 by decivious of 60 to 38 votes. Joe Biden warned Congress that if they voted to repeal this controversial staff accounting bulletin, he would use his executive powers to veto the repeal. However, a recent change in the White House's tenor towards cryptocurrencies may provide a glimmer of hope that Biden will not veto the repeal of the controversial measures. Following former President Trump's comments indicating his support for the crypto industry and decentralized technology, the Biden House seems to be essentially appealing to the pro-crypto voters by asking blockchain companies and firms, essentially companies, to provide input for the administration's future crypto policy. The crypto industry is now patiently awaiting Biden's decision as the June 3rd deadline looms. So, regarding the bulletin, essentially SAB 121, which is for the bankers regarding holding cryptocurrencies on their balance sheets and so on, if Joe Biden decides to veto it, then it's definitely going to be hurting his votes. Not that Joe Biden is going to be getting any sort of votes, but it's going to be, hurting, is completely damaging his campaign regarding Joe Biden if he does decide to veto it. So Joe Biden right now is standing at a dilemma to go against the crypto crowd, which would be bad for his votings, or, well, there's no other option. If he goes against the voting crowd, he's probably going to be losing. Because the issue is, yes, they are trying to take out, they're slowly trying to take out regarding Trump on, trying to shift him from his position of even becoming a candidate. But also, you don't want mass riots and, protests and so on to happen either. So he has to start playing nice. Biden has to start playing nice in some sort of favors-wise with the people. It's what politicians have to do to get votes. Because, yes, everything is rigged, but you still don't want protests and so on. And especially not a civil war inside the United States. U.S. Senator Wyden is the next news we're going to be going through on tonight's live show. U.S. Senator Wyden, House right to essentially pursue crypto bill late in a session for more progress. But before we go through that, let's start the comment section. What's up, Miles? I was wondering where you went. Now I found you. John, good to see you as well. How you doing, John? Yes, we do the live shows on X, John. We don't do them on TikTok anymore. We've been doing it on X for about 70 episodes now, back to back. But yeah, we have freedom of speech on X due to Elon Musk. Thank you, Elon Musk. Now, U.S. Senator Wyden, good to see you as well, John. U.S. Senator Wyden, House right to pursue crypto bill late in session for more progress. The Oregon Democrat has been among his party's cryptos in the Senate, and he said that there's a long way to go after this early burst of crypto momentum in Washington. Senator Rod Wyden, one of the US Senate Democrats who have essentially shown support for the crypto issuers, cast doubt regarding the legislative solutions for the industry and regarding moving quickly. But he suggested to the audience at CoinDesk, so there was a massive crypto event going on, massive blockchain event for CoinDesk. And if you don't know what CoinDesk is, they're one of the biggest crypto platforms out there in terms of news. And they have these massive events sometimes going on, and they invite a lot of executives and directors and sometimes government people to come along and give a speech regarding blockchain technology. So he decided to attend. And then he said essentially that, in terms of regulations, the United States is moving, but not moving quick enough. But he suggested to the audience at the CoinDesk Consensus 2024 that the momentum will continue next year in Washington as well. So this is just a start regarding regulations in the United States. This is going to be continuing on to next year and next year and next year. And the market is going to be going higher and higher and higher in terms of regulations, in terms of also utility. In the wake of the recent approvals of the Financial Innovation and Technology for 21st Century Act, FIT 21 as we know it, that was driven by the Rep. Patrick McHenry in the House of Representatives, drawing support from the third of the Democrats also, and the legislation to establish digital asset market structure is now in the hands of the Senate. This is what he said word for word. It's getting late in this session, so it's unclear how far that bill will move. Wyden said at the event in Austin, Texas, but I think Chairman McHenry is right to establish a kind of regulatory framework and put a sharper focus on fighting fraud and rip-off artists. We've made a lot of headway, but there is a long way to go, Wyden said, in terms of regulations. It basically sets up a different standard for crypto than everybody else has in the financial sector with respect to custody. Wyden said, a group of us said, let's just hold on here and take the time to make sense and not just establish a whole separate unique barrier to storing customers' crypto. The senator, who is also a member of the Congressional Internet Caucus, said the support stablecoins and is rooting for innovations in blockchain technology, such as the creation of a portable medical records. A social credit system, in other words. He said Congress often struggles with new technology, but he added that the crypto is a great issue for people to run on. In this year's congressional election, there is no question that there is growing interest here, he said. It's being driven by a lot of young and creative people in blockchain. So blockchain is definitely the biggest topic right now, essentially, onboarding regarding pushing the regulations, pushing the voters and so on. Crypto still remain one of the biggest topics when you have even more. And in terms of politicians, as I said before, I mean, even this particular politician, Wyden, coming out and giving his perspectives and saying he's in favor of cryptocurrencies, in favor of blockchain technology, it's because he's getting political donations. But as I said before, whatever gets the job done needs to get done. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is regarding Binance. Binance's ex-CEO, CZ, is getting ready to enter prison. Believe it or not, it's a sad day, but a new beginning for crypto. Let's go, John. Hi, Miles and CMF. George, good to see you. How you doing? Peter, hi, Miles. Let's go, Peter. How you doing? So, Binance billionaire founder CZ has reported to a low-security federal prison in California. CNBC reached out to CZ's defense team at Latham and Watson to confirm that the former crypto chief is now in custody. CZ was sentenced to 4 months in prison in April after pleading guilty to charges of enabling money laundering at his crypto exchange. The sentence handed down to the former Binance chief was significantly less than the 3 years that the federal prosecutors had been seeking for him. The defense had asked for 5 months of probation. The sentencing guidelines called for a prison term of 12 to 18 months. This was CZ said, essentially, his last words. I'm sorry, CZ told U.S. District Judge Richard Jones before receiving his sentence, according to returners. I believe the first step of taking, this is also what he said as well, I believe the first step of taking responsibility is to fully recognize the mistakes, CZ reportedly said in court. Here, I failed to implement an adequate, essentially anti-money laundering program. I realize now the seriousness of that mistake, is what CZ said. But yeah, CZ is officially now, should be in prison, I think, which is a sad day for crypto because CZ did a lot of things for crypto space. But it's also a new beginning it's a new chapter also for the crypto space as well, because the corporates needed CZ out of the picture, which they got. Ironically, they also got Terra Luna's CEO and founder also out of the picture as well. Apparently, that case in Montenegro is also being signed off as well regarding Terra Luna as well. So Terra Luna's case is coming to an end. CZ's and Binance's case is pretty much coming to an end as well, with CZ going to prison, which means a new chapter for cryptocurrencies and more corporations entering the cryptos field. But what's interesting? The article went on to essentially say, regarding CZ, the article went on to say how CZ came forward, and essentially took responsibility for everything he did. So Binance can continue to be Binance, which you have to respect a lot. And that nobody from CZ's side, nobody from Binance's side came out to snitch on CZ. On the other hand, FTX's CEO, everybody came out on FTX's CEO and snitched on him. You could see the type of company CZ built and the type of company Sam Beckman built. And it also shows a lot of character from CZ's side, where nobody from Binance came out to talk bad about him, and CZ took everything on the chin. On the other hand, FTX came out and started snitching on his colleagues, and his colleagues started snitching on him, and then it shows both of their characters. Now, I've always said I respected CZ, and I still will. He did a lot for the crypto space. A lot. If you were in the early days in the crypto space, you would understand how much that man did for the crypto space. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is Ripple's CEO. He predicts other crypto ETF approvals by the US SEC. Ripple CEO Brad has came out and give his perspectives on more ETFs are on the way. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. Yep, because Ripple put another $25 million into crypto, of course, they're going to come out loving crypto, rubbing their hands. Yep, pretty much. Which is true. Ripple did put another $25 million into a political campaign. And so did another firm and Coinbase and so on. But yeah, these politicians right now, they are loving crypto because of all the political donations. Good evening, Miles and all CMF. Free and Feather, good to see you as well. How you doing? What JB says, facts. Mr. Upside Down Pineapple is completely different than CZ. Lol. Yes, he did. Yep. Now, Ripple CEO. Ripple CEO predicts other crypto ETF approvals by the US SEC. Ripple CEO Brad has made a bold prediction at the Consensus 2024 conference at the US Securities and Exchange Commission SEC will approve these ETFs. Ripple CEO said that the next ETFs that could be approved or should be approved is an XRP ETF, a Solana ETF, a Cardano ETF in the near future. The announcement comes as a few days after the SEC greenlighted spot Ethereum ETF approvals. Ripple's CEO stands on crypto ETF. Brad's prediction of other cryptocurrencies following suit with their ETFs underscores the matureness of the market and the growing acceptance of digital assets in mainstream finance. He argues that as the cryptocurrency market matures, the SEC is more likely to recognize the benefits of diversified crypto investment vehicles like ETFs. These ETFs could provide a structured and regulated way for investors to gain exposure to volatile yet lucrative crypto markets, enhancing its credibility and accessibility. Brad believes that XRP, Solana, and Cardano are strong candidates for an ETF due to their significant market capitalization, robust ecosystem, and active communities. An ETF or XRP would provide investors with a regulated and accessible avenue to gain exposure to the digital asset, further legitimizing its place in traditional financial circles. Notably, the prospects of an XRP comes when regulatory clarity essentially surrounding cryptocurrencies is improving by offering a regulated investment vehicle. Ripple aims to attract a range of investors, including institutional players who may be hesitant to directly invest in cryptocurrencies due to the regulatory uncertainties or operational complexities. Brian Kelly also sparked speculation on spot Ethereum ETF approvals. Meanwhile, Brad's prediction aligns with Brian Kelly's prediction. In an interview, the founder and CEO of BKCM LLC suggested that Solana could be the next cryptocurrency to receive approval for the spot ETFs. Kelly highlighted Solana's impressive technological advancements and growing ecosystem as a key factor that could make it a strong candidate for ETF approvals. He also pointed out that Solana's transparent development team and its proactive approach to regulatory compliance could help gain the necessary approvals. Recall that in January, Franklin Templeton, a prominent trillion-dollar asset management firm, also stirred at speculation within the crypto community regarding the possibilities of a Solana ETF. Franklin Templeton especially lauded the Solana network's achievement and advancements in its public acknowledgement, which is true. Regarding Brad and what he said, more ETFs are on the way. I believe so as well. There's no way that we're just going to be ending with Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. When people thought ETFs weren't even possible for cryptocurrencies, we got Bitcoin ETFs. When people thought there was going to be no more ETFs after Bitcoin ETFs, we got Ethereum ETFs. And if people still believe that there's going to be no more ETFs, those people are lost. Because if you haven't learned the first time or the second time, and you're not going to be learning the third time, then why are you in this space? Honestly, people thought we would never get cryptocurrency ETFs. We got Bitcoin ETFs. And then they thought that's it, no more ETFs. We got Ethereum ETFs. More ETFs are on the way as well. Now, the next news to go through on tonight's live show is regarding Coinbase. Coinbase has now just submitted their closing brief opposing SEC petition denial. Coinbase has now just filed in their recent, essentially, regarding their case, their battle case that's going on with the SEC. They've just recently filed in their new documents. We'll go through what they are, so you can have a better perspective of what's actually happening between Coinbase and the SEC right now. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. That is so unfortunate for CZ. That is so unfortunate. Yep. Good evening, Professor Miles and the rest of the CMF family. Funky brother, good to see you. How are you doing, brother? Mr. G from SEC and his conscience are still making trouble and walking freely, which is facts. Regarding also, did anybody see Brad's tweet today? He made a very interesting tweet. So Joe Biden obviously has came out of nowhere. The Biden administration, let's say, for example, the Biden administration and Joe Biden apparently are coming out right now in favor of cryptocurrencies. Apparently, he's having conversations with blockchain companies. So, Brad, Ripple's CEO, decided to send out a tweet. If anybody hasn't seen it, basically, in a very simple term, the tweet says, Brad said that if Joe Biden is, coming out in favor of cryptocurrencies and so on, then his number one act should be to remove Gary Gensler as the SEC chairman. That's what Brad pretty much tweeted out. He said if Joe Biden is actually coming out in favor of cryptocurrencies, his number one act should be to fire Gary Gensler. Because that will do a lot for the crypto space. It will start bringing in innovation inside the United States rather than hindering it. I guess it's good to look into these projects and wait for the ETFs. Yep. With all of this nonsense going on within the world of crypto is somewhat delaying the bull run that I prepared for over a year. No, we're in it. It's just very manipulated. What about the 11 to 12 times that failed to load? Regarding Solana, the 12, 11 to... Well, how many times does Solana fail? It is 11 to 12 times. Because the last one was 11th time or 12th time. That's true, yeah. It has, actually. But I feel like they want to look past that. Little frustrated, but I'm certainly not going to give up. It's obvious all these top dogs know things that we don't know. Yes, let's go, JP Thompson. Let's go. Brought more of XLM, XRP, and Solano. I plan to convert Solano for Luna C when Luna C is on a downtrend. Interesting move. Do you think he'll do it? Do I think Joe Biden will fire Gary Gensler? For votes, I could see that happening. Honestly, I could see that happening for votes. If Joe Biden wants votes from the crypto space, firing Gary Gensler should be his first act. Because nobody from the crypto space is voting for Joe Biden because he's against cryptocurrencies. But if he fires Gary Gensler, but then it also does matter on who he hires next, because the person he hires next, or the person that's in line to become next, maybe is worse than Gary Gensler. You never know. So he just does it for votes essentially. Now, Coinbase. Coinbase submits a closing brief opposing the SEC's petition denial. Coinbase has filed a closing brief with the Third Circuit to oppose the SEC's denial of its rulemaking petition. The heart of the issue is a single sentence in the SEC's order simply discard with the Coinbase claim that the SEC rules essentially are impractical for crypto companies. Coinbase argues that this lack of reasoning alone should be evident that essentially throw out the SEC case with Coinbase. The SEC cannot extend its jurisdiction over a new industry without Congress's clear authorization and established rules, is what Coinbase is saying right now. Remarkably, the SEC insists it doesn't matter if the industry can comply with its rules, showing its intent to stifle the crypto industry without providing necessary regulations, said Coinbase. Coinbase believes the SEC wants to kill the crypto industry. Coinbase's filing calls for more than just vacating the order. It demands that the court's order rulemaking. The SEC's actions present a catch-22 for crypto firms. It demands compliance based on overly broaded interpretations of its authority. It engages in aggressive litigations against non-compliant firms and refuses to create rules enabling said compliance. Coinbase's chief legal officer, Paul, commented on the matter, stating, "The SEC is bent on choking the digital asset industry and is refusing to provide the necessary rules the industry has requested to tighten the squeeze. We appreciate the Third Circuit's careful consideration in this matter. Meanwhile, we'll continue to push for clarity for the entire industry in every form we can." According to Coinbase, the SEC's petition denial only confirms its intent to crush the industry. The brief shows the SEC's readiness to adapt the most inconsistent and baseless legal positions to continue its oppressive campaign. Without a court order for immediate rulemaking, the SEC will continue its delay tactics, which are central to its strategy to weaken the industry. In a very simple term, the SEC's, essentially Coinbase, has so far said the SEC makes up rules as it goes along. The SEC doesn't care about not approaching Congress and getting some feedback, and the SEC believes, and Gary Gensler also believes, that they are above Congress and whatever Congress has to say, and they won't go to them because they know for a fact that Congress will be against of whatever the SEC has to say, because so far they have been. They've voted against them multiple times. The SEC says it doesn't have to ensure compliance. The SEC's brief lists 4 main reasons for disagreeing with Coinbase's rule workability concerns. First, the agency claims it has no duty to ensure compliance with its rules. It sees its rules as tools to dismantle disfavored industries rather than to enable compliance with federal laws. Coinbase has basically came out and said that the SEC is picking and choosing who wins and who loses, and who gets a green light, essentially, who gets a red light, which is true up to a certain extent. I know, honestly, I would say the SEC is definitely choosing who gets to move forward and who doesn't, because Prometheus essentially has a full green light from the SEC, and it also looks like an inside job from them as well regarding Prometheus, because they have former SEC members, and they're fully green lighted by the SEC. Second, the SEC says it doesn't need to explain how its existing rules are workable, asserting that mere disagreements with the Coinbase ends discussion. Third, the SEC uses its numerous enforcement actions to prove workability, despite those actions targeting firms for failing to comply with what Coinbase calls unworkable rules. Fourth, Coinbase is going in detail of how much they hate the SEC and Gary Gensler and how incompetent the entire SEC is with Gary Gensler. Fourth, the SEC points to other rulemakings, widely seen as attempts to further crush the industry, as mitigating the exchange's concerns, which are not solutions but additional burdens. The SEC's resilience on vague facts and circumstances for applying securities laws to digital assets shows its intent to maintain a broad, unified jurisdiction without clear rules. This approach allows the SEC to exploit its power without without its legal stance through public rules and pre-enforcement's judicial review. Only a court order for rulemakings will stop its behavior, and Coinbase promises it will do everything in its power to achieve just that. So Coinbase is going headfirst against the SEC, and they are not giving up in any sort of way. They've pointed out many factors of what's wrong with the SEC. Number one being they're bullying the entire industry is what they're trying to say in a very simple way. The Gary Gensler and the SEC are just bullying the entire industry. And it's because Gary Gensler can. Gary Gensler has that power to go around and do whatever he wants until somebody humbles him and takes it away from him. That is the only option for Gary Gensler. This ideology of trying to come to a sit down with Gary Gensler, it's never going to happen because this man, Gary Gensler, is not here to listen to the crypto companies, is not here to listen to the judges. We've seen that before, where after the first ruling on Ripple versus SEC, when the TV cameras came to Gary Gensler, the journalist said, "What do you think about the result?" And Gary Gensler said, "I don't care about what the judge says. I care about what I say." Who says that? What kind of an SEC chairman says, "I don't care about what the judges say, it's about what I say"? That's how you know this person genuinely feels like he's Superman. Nobody can touch him, and his word is his word. Until obviously the Fit 21 Act came through, and his powers are split now between the CFTC. Anybody seen Billions, the TV show? If you have seen Billions, the TV show, Gary Gensler reminds me of the SEC person inside of Billions. His name was Chuck in the TV show Billions. Chuck reminds me of Gary Gensler. Actually looks like Gary Gensler as well, oddly enough. Where too much power sometimes gets to you. But yeah, no, everything Coinbase essentially said, absolute pure facts. Absolute pure facts. Nobody agrees with Gary Gensler and needs to be removed. And I'm happy that they're going to be going ahead and doing that, essentially. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is Franklin Templeton. Franklin Templeton files Amendment S1 for spot Ethereum ETF. We now know what the fees are going to be, one of the fees for the Ethereum ETFs. Why is it good to know what the fees for Ethereum ETFs are going to be, even if you don't buy Ethereum ETFs? Because it gives us a suggestion, it gives us an estimate of is there going to be volume coming in to the Ethereum ETFs or not? Because if the fees are too high, then corporates tend to not go towards it. But if the fees are low, the corporates will go towards it. So we can take a guess, an estimate of is there going to be an inflow of Ethereum ETF money coming in or not? The answer seems to be there is, yes, because the fees are 0.19% so far for one of them. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. Evening, Miles and CMF. Manny, good to see you. So how you doing? By the way, if you're new to this live show, I read everybody's comments one by one, so I will get to your comment eventually. I'm reading everybody's comment one by one, and then I go news, comments, news, comments, news. So I go through everyone. Where was I? I was here. It's obvious that all these top, yeah, there we go. I was here. Brought more of XLM, XRP, and Solana. I plan to convert to Lunacy. Why not? Do you think he'll do it? Possibility. An scapegoat is the oldest trick in the book, pretty much. That is a good possibility, worse than Mr. G of SEC. What's up, Miles and family? Hope all is well, though. Ray, good to see you. How you doing, brother? How you been, Thompson? Let's go. That's a very scary thought, though. Even Miles and CMF, Manny, good to see you. How you doing? Why every time a minute before the ETF trading closes, the charts do a long candle to the upside or the downside? This time it was a long red candle and then the market closed. Any ideas? Yeah, manipulation. Coinbase can do it now because they have taken off and they have a BlackRock, etc. behind them. So they fed up with it all. Yeah, basically, yeah. Coinbase has obviously BlackRock behind them, which means they can, essentially do what they want to do essentially right now in time, which is true. Yeah. You mean Suits? No, I mean Billions. Suits as well, also. But the guy from Billions, the SEC from Billions, also reminds me of Gary Gensler as well, but also Suits as well. Both of them. Gary Gensler is the weasel is like of cryptocurrencies who doesn't care of anything anymore. Is XRP worth holding or running? Is XRP worth holding or running? For me, it's worth holding. Definitely worth holding for me. A switch from EGLD to XRP right now. Not financial advice in any sort of a way, but if somebody offered me, I'll answer the question like this from my perspective. If somebody offered me EGLD or XRP, if I take the EGLD, I'm selling it still for XRP. My perspective. Now, Franklin Templeton files amendment, essentially S1 for spot Ethereum ETF and lists it for 0.19% fee. Franklin Templeton filed an amendment S1 form with the Securities and Exchange Commission for its spot Ethereum ETF application. Now, the SEC requested everybody to file in their S1s. So we can have a clue of what's going to be happening right now as well because of those documents on their fees. So the SEC can go back and say, amend these filings and possibly waste a little bit more time as well. Knowing Gary Gensler, it's always an option. The financial institutions is one of the several after successful launching of the spot Bitcoin ETFs is now trying to complete the necessary regulatory steps to launch a similar product that will allow investors to bet on the price of Ethereum without having to buy the cryptocurrency directly. Franklin Templeton plans to charge a 0.19% sponsor fee according to its filings. That is good because BlackRock, for example, is charging a 0.25% fee for Bitcoin ETFs. And Fidelity is charging around the same. They're all charging around 0.20, 0.25% fees and so on. So with 0.19% fees coming in for Ethereum ETFs, that's good. According to its filings, this is the same percentage it will charge for its spot Bitcoin ETFs, the cheapest among its peers come August. Initially, the firm is not charging a fee to invest in its spot Bitcoin ETFs as well, which is true. Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric and James quickly commented on the proposed fees. The opening shot in the Ethereum ETF fee war has been fired from Franklin Templeton at 0.19, he said on a post to X. In other words, all the rest of the ETF applications regarding Ethereum going to be coming in to essentially charge lower fees. The lower the fees are for the Ethereum ETFs, the more money that will be entering Ethereum ETFs from corporations, which means Ethereum will reach all-time new highs. The same way Bitcoin did with the Bitcoin ETFs, because 937 corporations boosted that Bitcoin ETF. Not the retail section, the corporate section. 13F filings, SEC, the proof that you need. The SEC told prospectives, spot Bitcoin ETFs, the issuers to file their members' S1 forms, and the block previously reported on the matter, so did I. However, it could take a few weeks for the S1 forms to become effective and the new financial products to begin trading. When spot Ethereum ETF applications received their initial approval last week, VanEck quickly filed their amendment version of its S1 filings, and BlackRock filed their updated form as well, disclosing its ETFs would be seeded with $10 million. Franklin Templeton's spot Bitcoin ETF has about $350 million in assets under management, according to the block data dashboard. So yeah, now we have an actual understanding of what the fees are going to be for the filings, what the fees are going to be for essentially the 13F filings. Not for 13F, sorry, for the S1 filings. 0.19%, which is good to go, essentially, regarding Ethereum ETF applications. That's definitely going to be a positive and a bullish sign, not just for Ethereum, but also for the entire market space, because more money will be entering them, which means more money and more eyes will be on the entire crypto space. Good news regarding that matter. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is this. Because the fees came in too high. If they were charging 1.5% fee, the market's going downwards. But now the market's going to go upwards when the doors actually open. Now, Velar Labs. Velar Labs raises $22 million for AI-driven cancer treatment predictions. The next thing I'm going to be talking to you about is a project, a AI project, that they don't have any sort of tokens yet. And I don't know if they are going to be coming out with tokens, but it's definitely a project to stick. It's definitely a project to keep in mind regarding Velar Labs, because they don't have a token at all. And I just came across the news today. But AI is getting involved in the medical scene quite a lot, with billion-dollar contracts coming in for AI projects, and some of them are raising seed money. This particular project has raised about $22 million. It's called Velar Labs, and they're doing it for cancer treatments. Now, we're going to go through, but before we go through, let's go inside the comment section. The reason I mention sometimes these types of projects is for you to keep an eye on, and none of them ever have any tokens, any sort of way for you to invest into. But if you're in the stock market and if this company decides to go public, then it's definitely a project to look into when they do go on an IPO, for example, or if they do release a token somewhere down the line, at least it's on your books. So either an IPO or, regarding a token. Gary Gensler, the Weasel. No, I wasn't there. I was there. Gary was just following an agenda that got into his head. This got into his head. Yeah, pretty much. Anyone willing to give up XRP, please contact me. I will gladly take it off your hands, is what Scott said. Gary Gensler is at the Karen of the crypto. Basically, Stormy put it the best. Gary Gensler is like the Karen of the crypto space. I'm running away as well, but I have my bags with me of XRP with me. Miles, since you moved from TikTok, has your viewings increased or gone down? Followers? Well, not everybody from TikTok knows that I do CMF live shows on X and YouTube only now. For about 70 days we've been doing this. Nobody knows. From TikTok, nobody knows. The only ones that know are, original CMF members. So the OG CMF members obviously know that we do TikTok, that we do X and YouTube lives every single night. But the ones that used to tune in only on TikTok and were never a part of the Telegram group, they don't know that we moved over to X and YouTube. Now, I was going to mention on TikTok that we're only going to be sticking on, X and YouTube, but I thought maybe the scammers will follow me as well, because there's a lot of people that pretend to be me. It's very frustrating. So, but then I thought maybe I should tell everybody on TikTok that I'm only doing it on X and YouTube, because I have a blue tick on X, which helps for people to know that this is the real me. Because scammers aren't going to be paying for blue ticks, because then they will, obviously come out with who they are. So they'll never do that. But now regarding the followers on YouTube, we've grown quite a lot. On YouTube, we've grown quite a lot. On X, we're growing as well. In terms of viewerships, we're definitely growing on X as well. And the followers will come. But on YouTube, we're growing faster. On X, we're also growing as well every single night. Miles, you have missed quite a few of my comments tonight. Funky brother, which comments did I miss? I haven't missed any of your comments. The last comment you made was the Gary Gensler, the Weasel one. And then before that, you said it's obvious the top dogs don't know things that we're doing. And before that, you said, I guess it's good to look into these projects and wait for the ETFs. Before that, you said, sorry, I was having a late dinner, but I was listening to the program. Before that, you said, good evening, Professor Miles, and the rest of the CMF family. I didn't miss any of the comments. I've been reading all of the comments. How are you spelling Velo Labs? It's Valor Labs. It's VALAR. VALAR Labs. That's how I'm spelling. I'm one of them. Let's go, Daniel. Why don't you go back on TikTok and let everyone that you've moved? I thought about it. I'll create a video and put it on TikTok and tell everyone I moved. The OG CMF crew, let's go Pierce. I think you're growing more on these two platforms. Yes, I am, definitely. We're growing a lot. In my perspective, we're growing faster on YouTube and X than TikTok we ever did. And also, one important factor between TikTok, YouTube, and X, on what we're doing right now on the CMF live shows, we have freedom of speech. On TikTok, I always had to filter myself, which was the biggest, you know, when it came to TikTok, the biggest red flag on TikTok was that I had to always filter myself, and I was always that fear of, the live show might get shut down on essentially TikTok and so on. But I don't have that fear anymore because we have freedom of speech due to Elon Musk. So thank you, Elon Musk, for X. But yeah, but we're definitely growing my perspective as well, and also in JP's perspective faster. On X and YouTube, definitely. Where is the retail money that pushes BTC to 69k? Now it's all institutions' hands. Yes, facts, what Tool said. And also what JP said as well. I think you're growing more on these two platforms. I am. Facts, what JP said. Hi, Miles and CMF slept in this morning on this sunny Saturday. Let's go, Shelly. How you doing? How you been, Shelly? Now, perfect time. I'm about to go for the next news as well, Shelly. Valor Labs, or Valor Labs, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Valor Labs raises $22 million for AI-driven cancer treatment predictions. There's a lot of AI projects right now getting inside the medical space, and if this company goes for an IPO and goes public, it's good to know about it beforehand. Or if this company comes out somewhere down the line and also raises a token, it's good to know about it as well. Valor Labs has secured a $22 million investment to advance its AI platform to predict cancer treatment outcomes. The biotech company aims to use its fundings to expand its focus to more tumors and treatment options, enhancing the predictability and efficiency of cancer care. Moreover, Valor Labs has developed Vesta, an AI tool targeting bladder cancer. This platform essentially leverages visual AI to analyze essentially historical images and identifying key therapy response indicators by working with international medical institutions. Valor elevated over 1,000 patients using this data to refine Vesta's predictive capabilities. The AI-driven platform assists many doctors in making accurate diagnoses without replacing their expertise. This aims to eliminate the prolonged and often uncertain nature of treatments like the BCG therapy, which only succeeds about half the time. Valor's technology provides interoperability and actionable data to doctors, facilitating better clinical decision making, expanding AI in oncology. Valor Labs plans to extend its AI capabilities to a wider range of cancers. With the new funding, the company models trained on extensive datasets aims to reduce the data and costs associated with ineffective therapies. Valor's commitment to enhancing clinical decision making is supported by notable investors such as the DCVC and even Cardano's founder has made some investments into this as well. The $22 million Series A funding will drive the commercializations of Vesta and development of new AI applications for them. The Valor Labs AI platform Vesta represents an advancement in personalized cancer treatments with substantial financial support. The company is poised to expand its innovative approach to various cancer types, aiming to improve patient outcomes and integrate a more effective into the healthcare system. Amazing on that matter. Regarding particular companies like this, so sometimes I do mention companies like this that are coming out of nowhere, raising money, and they're in the AI field or sometimes blockchain field. I mean, 2 nights ago I revealed another blockchain company. They don't have a token at all, and I don't know if they're ever going to come out with a token. But it's good to keep your eyes on projects like this, like Plum Network, for example, coming out with. Plum Network has backings from Google and JP Morgan and Amazon and so on. So big names are behind Plum Network, but they don't have a token. but it's good to keep your eye on them in case they do. And Velar Labs, they don't have a token either. They're an AI project. The other one was a blockchain project. This one's an AI project. They don't have a token either. But it's good to keep your eye on them just in case they go public. If you want to go for the stock market prospects, these types of companies will do amazing things. Because if you look at who they're working with and who they're contract by or who they're getting their fundings from, will give you an indication. But sometimes also startups do go bust. So keep that in mind as well. But definitely keep your it's good to keep your eyes open on these types of particular projects. One of them with JP Morgan, Plum Network, is a blockchain project with JP Morgan, Amazon, Google, and so on. Big names are behind it. And this one being Velar Labs, getting funding even from Cardano's founder as well, regarding cancer and AI. But the next thing we're going to be talking about on why the market dipped slightly today. I'll give you the exact reason on why the market slightly dipped today. I'm just thinking about the first week or two, everybody was going bananas, and now look at us all long, which is true. What is the same? What is the saying goes? One door closes, one door opens. Facts, as the saying goes. Facts. Yeah, honestly, I prefer. I mean, at the beginning, obviously, at the beginning, it was very different, moving off from TikTok. But now that we're 70 days in, pretty much, roughly, we're 70 days in on X and YouTube, because we're episode 73 now. Feels so much better. Doing the live shows on X and YouTube, and now everybody inside the CMF is comfortable with doing the live shows on X and YouTube. Everybody can communicate either through YouTube or X. Yeah, this is so much better. And I don't have to filter myself. I can talk about CBDCs and so on and so on, which is good to know as well. But yeah, this, without a doubt, we should have done this from the beginning. But I feel like I had to start from TikTok. I had to start from TikTok because otherwise there'll be no such thing as a CMF. So we had to start from TikTok for us to create the CMF, and then essentially move on to better things, which is X and YouTube for the CMF. Where can one get those ETFs? You can get them from platforms. If you're inside the United States, it's obviously much more easier. If you're in the UK, JP Morgan Bank in the UK is offering some kind of services called Nutmeg, which you can go for regarding ETFs. Will Uber come out? Will Uber come out with its own coins? It is expanding rapidly. What's your take on this? Will Uber come out with a blockchain project? Who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line. Uber. I don't think they're going to come out with a token, but you never know. Uber could maybe one day come out with a token. You never know when it comes to blockchain. But I could see maybe Uber partnering up with a blockchain project regarding data storage. I could see that happening because Uber's trying to go into self-driving cars, so data storage and AI makes sense for Uber. Miles, you talk about all the coins in the world, but you do not talk about CoinMove. We cannot wait. We cannot wait for the launch of CoinMove. Let's go. Yeah, no, look, when CoinMove launches, I mean, obviously, everybody's more than welcome to join into CoinMove. But the reason why I don't want to actually, no, I never mind talking about it when I get asked questions. But do you want me to come on live every single night and just talk about CoinMove? No, you want me to talk, which I shouldn't be doing either as well. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be known as that person that just comes on live every single night and talks about his own company. I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that, essentially teaches you everything you need to know instead of just teaching you one subject. I would rather teach you a wide range of subjects on blockchain, on AI, on regulations, on how the corporate sector operates. I'd rather do that. And then sometimes here and there, I'll throw in CoinMove when it has relevance, when it has some sort of relevance to the matter. I'll throw in CoinMove as well. But I'd rather teach you everything you need to know on how to survive this corporate world that you're about to be entering in some sort of a way, how to survive, how to do things essentially, inside of regarding to understanding laws on what laws really do, on how they apply, and how to operates at a corporate sector, or how to understand what to look out for in terms of what projects are good, what projects are bad, what to stay away from, how to protect yourself, all those things that you should be, all those things that you should know. Essentially, is what I want to teach you. I just don't want to, come on live every single night and just talk to you about coin move, coin move, coin move, coin move. If it has relevance to the matter, I'll talk about coin move. If it doesn't, then I'd rather share you information that you should know. Miles, that's for sure. TikTok was a stepping stone. Yep, definitely. I read something about Joe Biden vetoes bill, etc., but I don't understand it. Is it bullish or bearish news? If Joe Biden vetoes a bill, it's going to be bearish for the crypto space, but it creates buying opportunities where it does. Miles, we are lucky to have you. No one else is doing what you do. Iman, thank you so much for the kind words. True. Let's go, Daniel. Now, Japanese crypto exchanges. Miles, CoinMove is a brilliant idea, and I hope nobody else copies your idea and launches before you. Even if they do, if anybody tries, and some have, if anybody tries, and some have already as well, tries to copy what I'm doing for CoinMove, some companies have. Some companies have tried to copy my maneuvers in CoinMove. But though every single one of them will fail, because every single one of those companies that tries to do what CoinMove does before CoinMove will fail, because they're missing one key component in their company, which is a replica of mine. And that one key component they're all missing is me. Without me, there is no CoinMove. If anybody else tries to copy CoinMove, they'll fail. I'm a very confident businessman. Now, Japanese crypto exchange. Japanese crypto exchange. DMM. Bitcoin reports $308 million in BTC theft. That is the reason why the markets dipped slightly today. There was essentially a hack that happened in Japan. About $308 million of BTC, Bitcoin, was stolen. And that's why the markets slightly dipped today. In a significant blow to the cryptocurrency industry, Japanese crypto exchange, DMM, sorry about that, apologies, DMM, Bitcoin has revealed that $308 million worth of Bitcoin was stolen from its primary wallet. Per the reports, the incident stands as one of the largest thefts to essentially impact the crypto world in recent years. DMM Bitcoin has taken security measures. DMM Bitcoin, a prominent player in the digital cryptocurrency market, disclosed the theft in public announcements, confirming that the stolen assets were housed in their main wallets, which is typically used for daily transactions and operations. Although the full details of how the hack happened were not disclosed, the company has assured its customers that it will fully guarantee all of their Bitcoin deposits despite the substantial loss. In response to the incident, DMM Bitcoin has taken immediate security measures. The exchange has suspended all buying orders for spot trading to prevent further losses and ensure system integrity. Additionally, it has halted the openings of new leveraged trading positions, a move that affects traders who typically operate on margin and leverage trading to maximize their trading potentials. Moreover, DMM Bitcoin has temporarily paused the screening process for new account openings as well. This measure is designed to focus on the company's reassurance and efforts on investigating the breach, reinforcing security protocols, and ensuring that existing customer assets are protected. Crypto industry witnessed decline in losses. A recent report by blockchain security firm Luminov essentially revealed a notable 23% decline in losses attributed to hacking and scams during the first quarter of 2024, compared to the same period in 2023. According to the research, the total amount of loss to hacking and fraud incidences in the quarter one of 2024 stood at approximately $336.3 million, down from the $437.5 million in the Q1 of 2023. Despite this positive trend, the crypto industry remains vigilant at threats persistent. As reported earlier by the CoinRise Prism, Finance, a non-custodial and decentralized finance DeFi protocol, fell victim to a significant hack incident, losing $9 million in the incident as well. So, if you are wondering why the crypto market dipped slightly today, it was because of a Japanese hack situation that happened. $308 million worth of Bitcoin was stolen from a Japanese platform. And that was the reason why the market dipped slightly today. Ironically, Japan has two hacking scenarios now. One, Mt. Gox, about $9 billion of Bitcoin is about to be refunded. And now this one. But yeah, that's the reason why the market dipped today, because the confidence inside the crypto sector is that crypto is secure and it can't be manipulated or hacked. Because the whole point of living in a digital world is that nobody will get hacked and compromised in any sort of a way. Because if you have cash in your pocket, the only way you can get hacked or compromised, let's say in a traditional manner, is if somebody steals your wallet. With cryptocurrencies, we're trying to move to this cryptocurrency, segment of digital world, of blockchain technology, security, and so on. And if it can be easily compromised and hacked 24/7, it looks bad for the crypto space. So that also puts some downward pressure on the market space as well. But obviously, whales will always use articles like this to manipulate the market space, to create down pressure on the market. Then panic sellers will start to kick in, and then the whales will buy everybody back up, and the market stabilizes. Now, Hong Kong's government commits to the support of digital assets contrary to the auctions. Essentially, Hong Kong's government is getting very strict on terms of regulations inside the crypto space. Extremely strict in terms of regulations. Now, is that a bad thing or a good thing? I would say it's a good thing, because look, if they're getting strict, because they're going to get strict eventually. Every government is going to get very strict on regulations when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So the faster they get strict, the faster the regulations will come through and we can move forward with it. And I've always said, if you're inside of legitimate projects and with regulations coming in, which they are, you want to be in crypto projects where if the regulations come in, it will benefit you rather than be against you. So this is why I say, people try to tell you inside the crypto space, regulations are bad, institutions are bad, corporations are bad, stay away from these types of, people and groups. That's the most moronic thing I've ever heard till this day, being inside the crypto space, ironically. There's so many moronic things I've heard inside crypto space, but that's also one of the worst ones. You shouldn't be running away from the corporations. As much as, these corporations are bad people, you shouldn't be running away from them because they have all the money. And if you're positioned correctly in the right projects, the corporations coming in should benefit you, not go against you. The banks coming inside the crypto sector should not go against you, should benefit you. And the regulations that come inside the crypto sector should not go against you, should benefit you. So you got to position yourself properly, not against them. Because they're coming either way. So either get in line and let it benefit you and bring in some money for you, or go against the system like everybody else who hasn't succeeded in life. Now, Hong Kong. Hong Kong's government commits to the support of digital assets. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. I love it, Miles, regarding what I said. If anybody tries to copy CoinMove, they don't have one key component, me, which is true. I love it, Miles. Let's go. Hats off to your brother with your confidence. Let's go. Well, it's still lower than bank robberies back of the day. Back in the day, yes. Obviously, regarding crypto scams, it's if we go that far back, yes. Which we should do if we're going to do a full comparison. Yes, obviously bank robberies are much more higher than crypto robberies. True, it's very true. Now, Hong Kong. Hong Kong's government. Today, the Hong Kong government officials, including the financial secretary, Hong Kong appeared at the 2024 CACSIM Summer Summit, where they shared that the Hong Kong government will continue to promote financial innovation. The focus areas that remain key to development include financial technology, green finance, Web3 related areas, DeFi, and virtual assets. The developments and support will ensure the stability and reduction of financial risk. Michael Wong is optimistic for the growth. The acting financial secretary, Michael Wong, believes that the driver of growth for the country is its special administration region government. He added that the financial economic connectivity of the country for essentially with flourishing countries and the space and its unique advantage. Obviously, unique advantage in Hong Kong being that they're very lenient, but now they're becoming strict. So let's see how that one plays out. And he further believes that the country will continue to take advantage of this unique advantage to explore new growth opportunities in different fields and develop new competitive advantages. He shared the idea of Hong Kong's SAR government expanding its competitive advantages to three specific areas, such as this is what Hong Kong right now is focusing on. Right now, Hong Kong is focusing on these key areas in blockchain. Finance. Remember how I said the money category in number one inside the crypto sector and the data category section number two? Innovative technology and attracting foreign enterprise and talents. In the era of finance, the key areas include financial technology, green finance, DeFi, decentralized finance in other words, related to Web3, digital and virtual assets and others. The other factor that will support the growth of Hong Kong is it's interconnected with mainland China's financial market and is anticipated to expand further. Furthermore, the Chinese Securities Regulatory Commission shared and issued 5 measures, the Capital Market Corporation for Hong Kong. The country officials are looking forward to implementing these measures and believe that the interconnection between mainland China and Hong Kong will uncover more investment opportunities and products. Hong Kong to show down crypto exchanges. Despite the country's official claiming to support crypto exchanges, were focused to dismiss their operations due to the increase in regulatory requirements, as the licensing deadline was provided to be February 29th, which passed a long time ago. The exchanges that did not get licenses were either forced to cease their operations on their own or the government will do it for them in effect of May 31st. Which was yesterday, because if you live in London right now, it's around 40. So it's 12:40 a.m. right now in London. Hong Kong's regulatory bodies has substantially increased the regulatory requirements for the exchanges since the beginning of this year. This has led to the cessation of operations on multiple crypto exchanges in the country in the last 2 months. Yes, Hong Kong is getting extremely strict in terms of regulations inside the crypto sector, but they're only doing it to wrap things up at a much more quicker pace. To get the ball rolling is essentially what they're doing, which is good. Because the faster these regulations come through, the faster we can move forward. If they try to do slow regulation, it's going to take a while. So we want fast regulations, and I'm happy that Hong Kong's taking that on their own path to bring up, regulations at a much more faster pace. Which, again, if you're positioned quite correctly, you're pretty much in the green zone, let's say. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is regarding Tradify. Tradify says crypto derivatives play a longer role in Bitcoin's future. Traditional finance, essentially executives say that crypto derivatives play a longer role in Bitcoin's future as the next news to go from tonight's live show. But just going back to this Hong Kong and China situation regarding regulations, more countries should follow in suit. More countries are tending to follow in suit. Japan is going to become a little bit more strict as well. Singapore also following in Hong Kong's footsteps. China has been always strict since day one, since they have launched CBDCs. But yeah, if you're positioned well, you're going to positive. It's going to be very positive for you. Now, go inside the comment section before I go through the traditional financial news regarding Bitcoin and derivatives market space. Good evening, sir. Good to see you finally. Maurice, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Well, it's still low on the bank robberies. Yes, it is. Good to see you, brother. How you been? Australia governments are now demanding information from exchanges for people's personal data for crypto taxes, which is, look, that's also happening around the world as well. KYC in general is going to be happening around the world, which is why I've said many times, for example, me, I prefer my assets to be in cold storage wallets, not in exchanges in any sort of a way. Obviously not because of tax reasons, but because of it's safer in the cold storage wallets. Soon, the other G20 countries will follow soon. Yes, they will. The other G20 countries have. Crypto.com is one particular exchange who will snitch. It's a very simple matter. I can say they will sell you out or they share information with your governments, or I could just say they snitch. Crypto.com snitches very fast. So does Coinbase. Binance also now as well because CZ is no longer there. Um, Kraken, yeah, they snitch very quickly. But the fastest one that snitches is Crypto.com. Crypto.com, they will sing like a bird. Honestly, Crypto.com will sing like a bird if it has to. But Coinbase as well, they talk a lot. Soon the other G20, but the other G20 countries have followed. Canada, if you have above $5,000, $5,000 or above, most of these exchanges will let the authorities know. The United States is also the same thing. So is the UK, so is the EU markets. The rest of the G20 countries are already on loop on that. On the positive note, my best buys to date are Sol, SIP, Link, BTC, and ETH. Let's go, Imon. And the dog with hat, very good. And the dog with hat, very good. A lot of people made good money with the dog with hat. But, all these meme coins are extremely risky. Do we know how much of China are in CBDCs? Do we know how much of China's population are in CBDCs? It's the main provinces in China that are on CBDCs, not the entire country itself. It's not fully in CBDCs. Now, obviously, we know that China is building also CBDC cities, where I revealed the news once that China is uh, building a community, a digital community is what China's building, where they're building apartments, brand new apartments, shops, and malls and so on, shopping centers and so on, and they're giving away everything for free, pretty much. If you want a property in that area that China is building, they'll give it to you for free, rent free for 1 year, is what they'll do. 2 years or 1 year, rent free. But if you live in that community, you only operate on CBDCs, is what China has said. So China is building, essentially CBDC cities where they're brand new apartments. Or if you want to shop, if you want to start a business in that city, rent free for 2 years. But all your wages, all the money that you make is in CBDCs. Is what they're doing. It's basically, as I said previously, a long time ago as well, they're going to be giving you free things. But obviously, there's nothing free. Nothing's free in life. Let's just be honest with ourselves. And I also said, if anybody tries to protest against CBDCs, the governments will just give them CBDC money. The governments will give them free money. And the majority of people who are protesting against, this whole digital wave don't understand that it's going to happen either way. But also, they don't know what CBDCs are. So when the government says, we'll give you free money, they'll say, yeah, sure, we'll take it. Because they don't know what CBDCs really are. They don't know it can be freezed, seized, expiry dates, and so on. Which also happens in traditional finance. Regarding banks can freeze and seize your account, but the expiry date is a new feature. But yeah, we don't know exactly how much of China is in CBDCs till this date. We know that quite a lot of province in China is on CBDCs. There's multiple documentaries on people living with social credit systems and CBDCs in China. And apparently through some of these scanners, you have to smile as well. Otherwise, they won't let you in. So the cameras are there, check your social credit systems, check your CBDCs and so on. So yeah, it's also that's going to be headed worldwide. Every country, as I said previously, is going to be following China's footsteps. China's like a playing ground for all these Western countries to see what really happens in the digital world. So far, it's benefiting for China, but that's also because China always had that strict control over their people, with the strict internet laws and strict everything else laws. And people always lived on that strict rule base, let's say, for example. So it was easier for them to implement CBDCs. Trying to implement CBDCs, in the UK or the US and so on, it might seem like it's going to be difficult in some sort of a way, but it's actually more than easier than you think to brainwash people. As I said previously, regarding Russia, Russia said that CBDCs will work alongside cash. But then Russia said afterwards, because I said they're lying, afterwards, they said that people inside of Russia's transportation system can use CBDCs. And then they said, we'll give anybody that uses CBDCs offers. That's how they get you in. That's how they'll just easily get you in. Just enticing you with promotions and offers and giving you that easy way of life. And then before you know it, you're trapped on CBDCs and you have no more cash. And then everybody else around you doesn't accept cash either. So by that time, it's too late. Before you realize it, you're going to be on CBDCs. It's easier than you think to brainwash people. Much more easier than you think. Now, Tradify, traditional finance. Sing like a bird. Miles, you're a comedy. Let's go, Scott. Tradify executives say that crypto derivatives will play a larger role in Bitcoin's future. The bedroom crypto traders and analysts have frequently expressed concerns at Bitcoin's BTC inability to overcome its all-time highs. But professionals from the CME, which is Chicago Exchange, TradingView, and TJM Institutional Services believe that the launch of spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds, ETFs, will play a role in sending Bitcoin's price to new highs even more. The reason why they started off by saying bedroom crypto traders, essentially the retail section, they try to say the retail section that are inside the crypto space don't understand how much power the corporates bring into the table. They don't understand. The retail section doesn't understand how much money the corporate section is bringing into the table when it comes to blockchain. And I'll be honest, the majority of the retail section don't really understand, because there are people still till this day that believe the Bitcoin ETF, the money that came into the Bitcoin ETFs, is from the retail section. Till this day, there are still people inside the crypto sector that believe that the retail section are the reason for the new highs on the Bitcoin ETFs. Even though there are evidence and data, which is something that majority of people overlook inside the retail section, which will suggest otherwise. 13F filings. SEC. If you go to this 13F filings, you can see who holds, on paper, the most amount of Bitcoins. People or corporations? The answer is corporations. Now, the reason why I started with the bedroom scenario is because TradingView and CME and TJM institutions have came together on a speech and essentially on a panel. They spoke about the crypto sector. They spoke about how the ETF market space is going to, open up the doors for more corporates to enter and more money. While speaking at the conference on the role of crypto derivatives, of what they will play in tomorrow's market, TradingView's general manager, Pierce Crosby, explained that derivatives have always been an integral part of crypto traders' experience. But trading on centralized exchanges available from 2015 to 2022 meant many spot and margin traders had their face ripped off by high fees and slippage. Crosby said, on the retail side of things, the ETF is a great way for investors to quickly buy in and get out of the asset when necessary, primarily because you're paying lower fees to get in and out. Regarding the potential impact that the spot Bitcoin ETFs should have on the BTC acceptance as a valid investment asset and its future price discovery, CME Group Global Head of Cryptocurrency Products, Genovi, said, ETFs have brought in a sidelined investors who were not comfortable with decentralized exchanges, suggesting that the deep liquidity of CME contracts and the growth of their volumes could be beneficial to Bitcoin's price discovery. A canary in the coal mines, or a corollary to stocks and commodities, Bitcoin is. From 2017 until 2021, a handful of analysts predicted that Bitcoin would be a hedge against inflation, and essentially a performer against the stock market is what Bitcoin was designed for. The topic remains somewhat continuous among the investing crowds, but TJM, Institutional Services Managing Director Jim, said that despite the correlation or lack of therefore recent United States Treasury actions are red flags. He said that 7 of the last 10 long-duration Treasuries auctions have been disappointing, some of them abysmal. My base case belief is that the Fed will have to set it into a support regarding the markets. In other words, rate cuts. He also explained that he believes the US Federal Reserve will eventually have to cut the rates and start easing again. Historically, loose monetary policies have been a beneficial to stock rises and assets and Bitcoin. Regarding Bitcoin's perceived correlation with traditional markets, Crosby said, "We're starting to see some of the larger institutional players attempting to shift the narrative that crypto is not just another corollary to tech stocks, the Nasdaq and the QQQ." Crosby explained that the crypto market price action at times does follow the stocks, the gold, and the oil markets, which is true. Crypto tends to do now follow the market space, the stock market, in other words. Instead of going against the stock market, crypto does tend to sometimes follow the stock market. And that crypto is also negatively impacted by internal black swans, like the FTX situation, which is true, and large centralized, decentralized finance businesses, which is also true. The more corporations that come inside the crypto sector expect more manipulation, but also expect a lot more money. But once the market realizes that the crypto sector has little to do with its supposed corollary, we'll see the crypto market begin to recover. In other words, once the retail section, essentially sees through all of the BS of pure manipulation, they'll do a lot more better for themselves as well. But also the corporations are the ones introducing the BS, but the retail section sometimes doesn't know where to look. Not everybody, the majority. There's a lot of people inside the retail section that are incredibly intelligent and they know what they're doing, but the majority inside the crypto space are in it for a quick buck. NYSE president lauds the Bitcoin ETFs and liquidity it brought to the markets, following on essentially what TGM essentially said, investments, and the CME, which is Chicago's markets, regarding what they said. Moving on to what essentially the New York Stock Exchange Group president Lynn had to say as well, which is the New York Stock Exchange Group president Lynn Martin has hailed the launch of Bitcoin ETFs and the liquidity it infused inside the financial market. So she's, absolutely bullish on the side of Bitcoin ETFs or any other ETFs coming out, because she's loving this idea of more liquidity coming inside the market space. Traditional finance executives have increased their appetite, which is a great thing to hear. Some people inside the crypto section, inside the crypto section, will tell you that with institutions coming in, it's very bad. It's actually not. They have all the money. You want to become rich, you need their money. It's the only way forward. If you want to do well in the market space, you need institutional money. You need them to come towards the projects you are holding. And you know how you do that? By positioning yourself in the correct projects. Not the quick buck projects, but the long-term projects. Traditional finance executives have increased their appetite for their asset class. This is all coming from the president of the New York Stock Exchange. Traditional finance executives have increased their appetite for the asset class cryptocurrencies directly or indirectly through ETFs, spurring price jumps around the crypto markets. Bitcoin ETFs changed the narrative. The launch of Bitcoin ETFs on January 11th sparked a new drive among traditional investors in the crypto markets. Lynn Martin stressed the benefits so far recorded in terms of price and liquidity to the underlying markets. She went on to say, "We've been having conversations with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, for more than 6 years about Bitcoin ETFs. I think you can't argue with the success of Bitcoin ETFs and the liquidity it has brought to the underlying markets." Appreciating the success of Bitcoin, she noted the inflows of funds and its effects on the market's liquidity. Bitcoin's price sparked an all-time new high above $73,000 since the launch of their spot ETFs inside the United States. The wider market cap has also seen massive numbers, with bulls attempting a bull run consolidation. To put gains into perspective, Bitcoin's ETFs have notched nearly $60 billion in inflows, with BlackRock's IBIT up to $19.9 billion. That's the amount of money that's just came into just essentially regarding Bitcoin ETFs for BlackRock. They've inflowed about $19.9 billion just from BlackRock's IBIT BTC ETF. In total, About $60 billion has essentially came in. Approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs has led to the anticipation around Ethereum ETFs, with increased appetite from Wall Street. The approval also led to a sense of legitimacy around asset class inside the United States, which has had a spell of uncertainty rules. Firms increased Bitcoin exposure. The launched funds dominated essentially the market sentiments in Q1 2024 and led the banks and other financial institutions gaining exposure to these assets. The month the firms disclosed their spot Bitcoin ETF holdings, sparking a frenzy within the crypto space. Institutions like Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, and the Bank of Montreal, among others, disclosed their spot ETF holdings. What she's talking about at the end is regarding the 13F filings for the SEC, regarding who's holding Bitcoin ETFs and who isn't. But again, this all came from the New York Stock Exchange Group President Lynn Martin, regarding her praising the ETF market space and saying essentially, the doors are open regarding the ETF space and the traditional financial space and the corporate sector have increased their appetite for this sector, for the crypto sector, which is amazing things to hear. Extremely bullish. Because if this was a random person saying it, but because it's essentially the president of the New York Stock Exchange, her opinion holds, or his opinion, sorry, holds weight. You don't know what people identify themselves as these days, but Lynn Martin's opinion holds weight. France positions itself as a global leader in artificial intelligence. Is the next news to go from tonight's live show, regarding France actually aiming to become a AI hub. The UK is aiming to become a crypto hub. The US, not so much. Japan is aiming to become a crypto hub. Hong Kong is aiming to become a crypto hub. The UAE is aiming to become a crypto hub. However, I can say actually the US also wants to become a crypto hub. It might not look like it, but the US also wants to do, essentially become a crypto hub. All of the biggest, blockchain firms out there are based outside, based inside the United States. Let's just be fair. So the US has the potential also to become a crypto hub with some policy changes. But oddly enough, France doesn't want to become a crypto hub. They're actually aiming for becoming an AI hub. They're actually investing quite a lot of money as well. So France positions itself as a global leader in artificial intelligence. Before we go through that, let's go start the conversation. Let me see. Is the housing market manipulated? Yes, the housing market is obviously manipulated. The reason why we even had a 2008 crash was because of the housing markets. Because too much lending and borrowing was going on and nobody could afford to pay it. Now, France positions itself as a global leader in artificial intelligence. France is emerging as a significant player in artificial intelligence and positioning itself as a potential AI superpower. The recent Viva Technology Conference in Paris illustrated how France is quickly advancing in AI and considerable fundings that French AI companies getting from investors like Amazon and Microsoft. Amazon and Microsoft are aiming for France. One notable example is H, an AI firm formerly known as Holistic, which received $220 million in a seed funding round. Some of the major investors included Amazon and the former Google CEO Eric. Such investments in AI demonstrates its increasing faith in France and its capabilities in the field. Earlier this month, Microsoft invested 4 billion euros, which is about $4.4 billion in France, making this its largest investment in the country so far. Viva Technology Conference showcased AI innovations. The Viva Technology Conference showcased an AI innovations. The event included the AI Avenue that comprised key players in the American market, including Salesforce and AWS. Generative use cases were showcased throughout the industries, and in some emerging categories like beauty and L'Oreal, the French-based beauty company recently launched Beauty Genius, an AI-based beauty advisor which shows the extent of AI integrations into France. French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire, in an interview with CNBC, said, France is the leader in artificial intelligence in Europe. We want to have our own artificial intelligence being created and being developed in France. Meta and Google AI labs anchor France's R&D ecosystem. France is one of the leading countries in Europe in terms of AI research and developments, with key facilities like Meta AI Research and Google AI Research in Paris. France stands as one of Europe's most vibrant innovation hubs, and the nation's nurtures are essentially thriving startup scene, marked by significant strides in AI. Estin Grass, managing director of Capgemini Invent in France. While France has been strong in the field of AI research and academics, it has struggled to turn its talents into a viable business. However, this trend is shifting gradually as some researchers, as well as artificial intelligence engineers, began to venture into new companies out of the labs such as Meta and Google. That was the aim of French businesses. Macron rallies tech giants to make Paris a global AI hub. French President Emmanuel Macron pointed out that France is leading Europe in the AI industry, while arguing that Europe is still behind US. What he means by that is, it's insane to have a world where the big giants just come from China and the US. So France right now is trying to compete, genuinely trying to compete with the US market space in terms of technology and the Chinese market space in terms of technology. And France wants to compete with both of them. Last week, the president of France, Macron, met with tech giants including Eric LeCun of Meta and Manique of Google to discuss plans to make Paris the global center of AI. According to Macron, the issue for Europe is how to speed up AI development while ensuring responsible regulations. As previously reported, the EU recently passed a new AI Act to regulate it as well, which is true. Regarding the AI Act that was passed in the EU, I read that out about a week ago. That was passed inside of the EU market space regarding regulations for AI. They're actually moving a lot more quicker on regulations of AI than the blockchain in general. But that's also coming as well, the MICA for blockchain. But that is massive news. So if you want to be in the AI field, if you want to invest in the AI field and so on, obviously not financial advice in any sort of way, entertainment purposes only, maybe keep your eyes out on French AI projects coming out of the blue. Because France, or Paris, France wants to be an AI hub, and Paris is going to be the capital of that hub. So yeah, the president of France is on board to turn their country into an AI hub. So is every other department in their government is also ready to turn France into AI hub. So it's good to know information like this in terms of keep your eye out, and I'll also update everybody all the time if I do come across any sort of French AI projects coming out of nowhere. Obviously, genuine French AI projects, not random AI projects, but genuine projects coming out of France with headquarters and so on. I'll definitely keep people updated on that matter because it's good money. And again, not financial advice. Every market is manipulated. The housing market, the stock market, the crypto market, every market space is manipulated. Everybody should know that. But yeah, JP says facts. But yeah, definitely keep your eyes out on France. Now, the number one topic. Apologies. The number one topic in the crypto space for Ripple and XRP users has always been a divide. There's a divide in the crypto space when it comes to Ripple. Some people hate it, some people like it, and so on. I've always said, you shouldn't have emotions inside the market space at all. Now, Ripple has introduced a new document, or a blog, you can say, today on their own website. Ripple released new information on their own website. And I'll put that link inside the Telegram group after the live show, inside the CMF Telegram, the Telegram group of this live show. By the way, anyone's more than welcome to join it. So Ripple put a document out, essentially, talking about how they're going to be utilizing XRP. They put that information out today on how they're going to actually utilize an XRP, because there's a lot of people inside the crypto space right now who, even people who are, always questioning, even people who are holding XRP, who are always questioning, is Ripple ever even going to be using XRP? Is the number one question when it comes to XRP. Is Ripple ever even going to be using XRP? I've always said yes, they are going to be using it. SBI Holdings has clearly said they're going to be using it, and to be fair and so on. But Ripple has essentially said, word for word, on how they're going to be using it. So if you're ever unsure of, and there's also a lot of people who say essentially that Ripple doesn't care about XRP. There's some people inside the crypto sector that says Ripple doesn't care about XRP, and I've said you don't go to war, especially for $200 million, if you don't care about the particular asset. But yeah, there's so much mixed reviews inside the crypto space. Some hate it, some like XRP, and some people don't understand what XRP is. Some people hold XRP and still second guess it. Now, this is extremely bullish, and I'll tell you one thing. With Ripple coming out with this information at this particular time, it's another indication of this case is coming to an end this year. Because before, they never came out with such information. So that means that, in other words, they're confident. Ripple is confident enough to come up with this type of information. How Ripple utilizes XRP for cross-border payments. How Ripple is going to be utilizing XRP for cross-border payments. Because a lot of people said, oh, well, Ripple's coming out with also a stable coin. So that means that they're not going to be using XRP, is what the argument was for a while as well. And I said, no, they're all going to have their use cases. So, how Ripple is going to be utilizing XRP for cross-border payments. Trillions of dollars in payments are sent across the boards every year. Yet, the traditional mechanisms supporting these transactions remain slow, expensive, and prone to failure. New emerging solutions are leveraging the power of blockchain to overcome the limitations of these conventional payment systems, and Ripple is leading the charge. Ripple Payments enables faster, more reliable, and more affordable cross-border transactions using digital assets such as XRP. Because a lot of people will tell you, well, Ripple Payments can just be Ripple Payments. They don't need to use XRP, and they never will. Well, according to Ripple, through Ripple Payments, they are going to be using XRP. It's on their own website that was released today. A purpose built for financial applications to bridge currencies. Still, despite nearly half of the financial institutions and enterprises considering cross-border payments a top use case for crypto, and questions about the technology persist, let's address some of the most frequent asked questions about how Ripple uses XRP and digital assets in cross-border payment solutions. Perfect time for Ripple to be introducing this on their own website, because it answers the questions that a lot of people were second-guessing things about themselves on holding XRP. How Ripple payments works. Traditional cross-border payments relays rely on an increasingly small number of correspondent banks that carry out transactions, which are often plagued by slow settlement times, little visibility into the payments during their processings, and cumbersome pre-funding requirements that tie up vital working, essentially, capital. Worse, the further a payment is from a Western financial institution, the greater the number of intermediaries required to complete the payment, which leads to more expensive transactions and points of a failure in terms of traditional payments. The resulting of high-cost payments have a disappointing negative impact on underdeveloped regions and undiscovered populations. For example, smaller remittances payments typical of migrant workers can hit high, with fees averaging from 10% to as high as 20% of the principal. Ripple's payment solution helps to reduce the number of intermediaries throughout the payment process. This significantly reduces the high costs and unnecessary frictions associated with traditional cross-border transactions. How does Ripple Payments create a frictionless experience for customers? XRP and other digital assets are used in the payments flow, serve as a bridge currency to last a mile fiat payouts, while the underlying blockchain technology powering Ripple Payments enables faster transactions. For more than a decade, Ripple has worked with partners around the world to build a network that represents more than 90% of the global FX market. Given that Ripple payments can bridge two currencies in 3 seconds with one fixed FX rate, Ripple actually reduces friction and streamlines the entire process while unlocking access to a hard to reach markets. How does the speed and efficiency of Ripple payments compare to traditional finance systems? Ripple Payments enables near real-time payment settlements, reducing a process that can take up to 3 to 5 days using traditional finance, down to a mere seconds. In fact, 58% of global payment leaders see faster payments as a number one value proposition for incorporating crypto into their cross-border payments. Unlike the existing correspondent banking system, Ripple Payments provides an upfront pricing and FX quotes, real-time updates, payment status, and is available around the clock, including weekends, holidays, and outside of traditional banking hours. How does Ripple Payments address regulatory compliance standards? You know, when I said this case looks like it's about to come to an end, and Ripple is very confident enough to release this on their website because of this. How does Ripple Payments address regulatory compliance standards? Ripple has embraced a compliance first mindset from day one. The Ripple payments flow enables greater payments transparency, so users can meet certain compliance obligations, such as those related to sanction screening and record keeping. Ripple Payments also meets global standards like ISO 20022, international standards for structured payment data, ISO 27, international standards to manage information securities, and SOC 2 type to ensure compliance with data security standards. This means customers can leverage streamlined global payment rails with a partner that prioritizes transparency and security, with safeguards that does XRP Ledger employ to ensure the accuracy of transaction data as its source. Blockchain transactions are immutable in nature, meaning that once a transaction is recorded, it cannot be altered or deleted. This makes it impossible for malicious actors to tamper with the transaction data recorded on the XRP ledger, the only blockchain built for businesses, the XRP ledger, and ensures that the information is accurate, enhancing overall data security and integrity. How do financial institutions perceive the role of blockchain technology in the future of global finance? The global payments landscape is rapidly evolving, and financial institutions are increasingly recognizing the transformative potential of blockchain. 90%, 90% of the global finance leaders say technology will have significant or massive impact on business, finance, and society within the next 3 years. To stay ahead of the innovative curve, many are actively building crypto native or digital asset teams. Ripple is helping to drive this shift, and its adherence to ISO 222 standards is representative of its commitment to global interoperability and its ability to bridge the gap between traditional finance and crypto. The future of finance. Ripple Payments is revolutionizing cross border transactions, enabling value to around the world, just as information does today. Despite misconceptions, Ripple offers a fast, reliable, affordable solution that paves the way, a path to a more exclusive and efficient global financial ecosystem. So, if you ever wondered to yourself, a lot of people tell you inside the crypto space, Ripple doesn't care about XRP. Ripple's never going to use XRP. Well, according to Ripple's own website, today they're going to be using XRP. They did a Q&A of how they're going to be using XRP step by step inside this cross-border field. Because a lot of people inside the crypto space will tell you Ripple will never use XRP, but they will because it's on their own website. Anybody can go check it out today on Ripple's own website. A lot of people will tell you inside the crypto section that Ripple will never use XRP in Ripple payments. They will, because it's also on their website and it says Ripple Payments and XRP. Many questions that people have of, essentially what XRP is or what Ripple will do or if Ripple cares about XRP, all of it has been answered by Ripple on their own website. And the timing of them releasing this documentation is another indication of how secure they are. on this case coming to an end. Massive and extremely bullish. I'm very happy that Ripple came out with this document on their own website, doing a Q&A, question answer of how they're going to be using essentially XRP within Ripple payments and global payments and so on, cross-bridging and so on, talking about it step by step. Absolutely bullish, because it answers all the questions. If people second guess themselves, will Ripple use XRP? They will. It's on their website. They posted it today. If people inside the crypto section told you Ripple payments will never use XRP, they will. It's on their website. I've seen all the random questions inside the crypto space for a very long time regarding this and that. Ripple's never going to use it, or Ripple payments. Ripple can't just use Ripple payments, and so on and so on. But either one solution Ripple chooses, one, they will use XRP. Two, if they use Ripple payments, they're still using XRP. So perfect timing. And you know why also it's not perfect timing as well? Because when Ripple announced a stablecoin is coming out, people inside the crypto sector said, well, there's no point of XRP now because the stablecoin is here. Ripple's never going to use their XRP token. I said they're still going to be using it because the stablecoin has one purpose, while XRP has many purposes. And as you can see, perfect timing on the release as well. They're going to be using it. As I previously, so if you were second guessing yourself, and you wanted some reassurance from Ripple's side, you got your reassurance from Ripple's side, and it came out today. I will post that from Ripple's own website on the Telegram group as well. And if you ever need to reassure yourself on what XRP is going to be doing, or is it going to have a place in Ripple's company, read that document every time you need to reassure yourself. For AI projects. Miles, 2 questions. Go for it, Scott. Let's go inside the comment section. I'll give you the next news. So that news is extremely bullish with Ripple coming up, perfect timing. And the next news is also interesting as well. Market is frozen, no money coming in, no movements right now for AI projects. Miles, 2 questions. Go for it. What is your opinion on converting most cryptos to XRP, XLM, XTC, ACH, Beam, VRA? I mean, XRP, XLM, XTC, ACH is a good choice. Beam is good as well. It's going quite well for itself. VRA, I don't know what the recent developments are, to be fair. What do you, would you do a conversation now or later? Later. Telegram, message me, Scott. I'll give you a response. It's absolutely crazy what they're trying to do. Like you said, from day one, what they are trying to do is amazing, and how have to be 1,000,000,000% before they launch, which is facts. Is also what I said as well, JP. Facts, what JP said, because I've always said that a lot of people don't understand what Ripple's trying to achieve. They think what Ripple's trying to achieve is, just one quick task, and everybody's worrying, why isn't the price action coming through and so on. And I said, look, a lot of people don't understand that Ripple needs to be not 100% sure, but it needs to be 1,000,000,000% sure before it launches. And what I mean by Ripple needs to be 1,000,000,000% sure before it launches is because they're trying to change an entire financial system. Because if a crypto project comes out and they're partnered with Amazon or Microsoft and they create an app, let's say a crypto project comes out, they're partnered with Amazon or Microsoft, they create an app, people download the app, and the app has a few bugs. It's okay. That crypto project can go back to the drawing board, do some updates and fix the bugs and come back. No big deal. They might lose some few users. But what Ripple's trying to do, they can't have bugs. We're talking about an entire financial system being changed, a backbone being changed. Imagine banks going out for hours upon hours because of a major bug or a hack or a compromisation of some sort that happened. Imagine the UK's bank goes down, France's bank goes down, the EU in general goes down, Canada's bank goes down, US's bank goes down, Hong Kong's bank goes down, Singapore's bank. Do you know how much of a chaos that will be? Because you can't compare Ripple to normal blockchain projects. You can't compare it because they're not in the same boat. A normal crypto project will launch an app or a website, and if it has bugs, they'll fix it. They might lose a few users and so on, but nothing, no major situation will happen. But if Ripple launches and there's bugs, there'll be protests, there'll be havocs, people can't have access to their money, businesses can't do business, there'll be shipment delays, there'll be genuine havoc, protests, shipment. So much will happen in this world in terms of chaos. because of a payment system went down, because of a banking payment system went down. Imagine a worldwide payment system just goes down. Imagine the amount of protests and havoc that will be created. That's why I say you can't put Ripple in the same boat as other crypto projects, because other crypto projects are trying to develop an app, a meme coin, or an application, a website, a meme coin, or an application or NFT. That's what other crypto projects are trying to achieve. But Ripple, and it doesn't harm anybody. If they have any bugs in their website, oh well, they'll fix it. There's a few updates, no protesting, no havocs, no nothing. No worldwide situation will happen. If their app goes down, they'll fix it. A few bugs, they'll fix it. Some users might leave. That's the least of their worries. Some users might leave. If their website goes down, their application goes down, the NFT project goes down, the gaming project goes down, who cares? They'll fix it with a few updates. They might lose a few users, but that's about it. You know, if their metaverse or gaming project, NFT, anything happens, nothing major will happen. But on the other side, if Ripple system goes down, a banking system goes down, and it'll be a worldwide problem. With protesting, with shoplifting, so many things will happen because people won't have access to their money. Do you understand now what scale Ripple is sitting upon and what task it's trying to achieve compared to your ordinary crypto projects? This is why I said Ripple has to be 1 billion% sure before it launches. Not 100, 1 billion% sure before it launches. Because if it doesn't work properly when it's launched, this world will flip upside down when people can't have access to their money to pay for their water, to pay for their gas, to pay for their electricity, to pay for their rent, to pay for their mortgage, to pay for their loans. Do you think people are going to sit there when they don't have access to their money? Do you think people are going to sit there comfortably and go, oh, well, it's just a bug, they'll fix it? It has to be 1 billion% sure before it launches. Not 100, 1 billion%. That's why I've never put Ripple in the same boat as any other random crypto project. Because no other crypto project can compete with what the task is taking up on itself as. And I'm very happy for them to release that on their website today. Although I knew all those things, but it's good for Ripple to come out and state it on their own website. Because I've been preaching those things before they release on their website. What is your opinions on, and also that's an indication of how close this case is to come to an end. So yeah, what JP said, it is facts as what I said. It needs to be 1 billion% sure. At the same time, when Brad is asking Sleepy Joe to sack Gary, it seems Weasel is already defeated. Pretty much. I sent you a DM too. Thanks, Scott. I'll check out the DM. Now, the next news. Brad explains why it is easier for Ripple to repeg its stablecoin to $1 than USDC. Ripple CEO Brad expresses confidence within the firm's upcoming stablecoin prospects, together with the probability for the token to realize a major share of the stablecoin market. In a viral video making rounds on social media, Brad mentioned that despite the fact that Ripple has not revealed the identity of its upcoming stablecoin, he's assured that the asset may acquire dominance within the stable markets. I'm very optimistic that there's a lot of market share there is it for stablecoins. There may be a number of progress for the upcoming stablecoin, so I'm excited, Brad remarked. Brad's confidence stems from Ripple's robust monetary place, which might be sure that the stablecoin stays pegged to the XRP, to the US greenback, Circle's USDC saga. Notably, the Ripple CEO recounted when Circle's USDC stablecoin misplaced its peg to the greenback, and the way troublesome it was for the corporates to revive the asset to $1 peg. Essentially, Brad coming out and saying, look, our main competitors inside the stablecoin space, one of them is USDC, which couldn't even peg to $1, which is true. Recall that USDC lost this $1 peg final year, crashing to an all-time low of 87 cents on March 11th. The stablecoin misplaced the peg following the collapse of Silicon Valley financial institution SVB, which manages 25% of their USDC reserves. Nonetheless, Circle assured their traders that it stays dedicated to sustaining the $1 peg and can crawl any shortfalls if the financial institutions fails to return to 100% of USDC reserve deposits. Regardless of Circle's assurance, USDC didn't repeg instantly to $1. As a substitute, the stablecoin repegged to $1 after a couple of days. Ripple has sturdy stability sheet than Circle, which is true. Ripple has a lot more money than Circle. Reacting to Brad's attributed to the problem restoring USDC's $1 peg to Circle's low stability sheet, the Ripple CEO emphasized that USDC didn't transfer. Regardless of Circle's assuring traders of its plans to step in, it didn't. USDC didn't move, partly as a result of I feel Circle doesn't have a giant stability sheet, he acknowledged. Brad later contrasts Circle's place with Ripple's, noting that if the latter had made an ambiguous promise on the time, USDC would have regained its $1 peg. It revealed that Ripple has been a big stability sheet of $20 billion to $30 billion behind it. Therefore, it could actually simply repeg the stablecoin to $1 immediately. Brad's remarks means that Ripple has extra monetary backings than Circle, and will doubtlessly intervene and restore the greenback peg of its upcoming stablecoin if it faces comparable points. Brad assured about Ripple's stablecoin aimed USDC and USDT threats. It bears mentioning that a $161 billion stablecoin market is dominated by Tether USDT, which boosts a valuation of $111.95 billion. USDC is the second biggest stablecoin with a market cap of $32.34 billion. Market watchers imagine Ripple's upcoming stablecoin will face a stern competitors from USDC and USDT when it launches later this year on the XRP Ledger and Ethereum networks. Nevertheless, Brad is assured that the upcoming stablecoin would acquire a majority share of the stablecoin market. That's confidence right there from Ripple's CEO that they're going to be going for the major share. So in other words, Ripple's stablecoin is aiming to be number one and overcrown USDT, which is projected to achieve a $2.8 trillion valuation by 2028. The stablecoin market space. So, massive confidence. It's good to see when CEOs have confidence. And what he's just basically said is all facts. USDC did, depeg from its $1 valuation. USDC doesn't have a lot of money to play around with, which is also true. 25% of their money was stuck in Silicon Valley Bank when it went sideways. And USDT, well, they have a transparency issue. The two stablecoins, the two number one stablecoins that are running the crypto space right now, okay? The two stablecoins that are running the crypto space right now, USDT, has major transparency issues. Circle, USDC, is broke. At any point, USDC can have another problem because their money could be tied up in another bank that goes bust. And then USDC will depeg again. And if it depegged the first time for a couple of days, it wasn't able to peg back because they were broke. USDC was broke and they couldn't peg back to their own currency, to $1, because they were too broke. 25% of their money gone, and they couldn't bring it back. But they told their investors, we'll have this problem sorted out ASAP. It took 3 days because they're too broke. And USDT has a transparency issue where, for a fact, we know that there is some dodgy behavior going on in USDT because, for some oddly reason, Tether keeps on printing billions of dollars out of thin air. Everybody thought the United States was the only one that prints money out of thin air. But Tether is also on the same boat. They print billions of dollars out of thin air, and then Tether's CEO goes, we're printing it for a rainy day. Tether's CEO acts as if it takes, 2 months for them to print that $1 billion. It's a code and you press enter. If you are expecting a rainy day, then print it on the rainy day because it takes 5 seconds for you to print it. This ideology of Tether keeps on printing billions of dollars and going, oh, we're printing it for a rainy day. Then why not print it on the rainy day? So Tether is extremely dodgy. They've always been dodgy. And they have a transparency issue where we don't really know what's actually backing anything they say. And USDC is too broke to do anything. And if another bank, like Silicon Valley Bank, goes downhill holding USDC's money, USDC will depeg again. And they're too broke to be able to peg back. And they'll need a couple of days of revival. Now, Ripple, Brad said if we do a stablecoin, and let's say if our stablecoin for some oddly reason depegs, it will be an instant repeg because we have a balance sheet. In other words, we are not broke at Ripple. We have money and we're transparent. Therefore, we are going to be the majority dominant space in the stablecoin, which makes sense. Ripple has money and is transparent. USDC has no money and USDT has too much money that we don't even know what's backing it. You see where the issue lies? USDC is broke. If another bank goes sideways holding their money, they can't peg for a couple of days. And the other side, USDT, not transparent. And they keep on printing money out of thin air. So one has too much money, but we don't know what's backing it, USDT. And the other one, USDC, if another bank goes sideways holding their money, it's pretty much the end of the day for them. That's why he said, essentially, Ripple's going to come in with a new stable coin and run the show. So, we've also came to the endings of this live show as well. On today's live show, we talked about quite a lot of things. I mean, we talked about one major thing. I mean, we talked about this Ripple scenario of the stablecoin, which is good when you hear confidence coming out of a CEO, especially, Ripple's CEO, not coming out with saying, we are going to be the best and so on, but coming out with facts. It's always nice to see when CEOs come out with facts on an interview basis and saying, what's actually wrong with their competitors. That's always good to see. Tearing down your competitors, it shows you that, you deserve to be in the seat you're in. And it shows that you understand how to do business. Then we talked about, essentially, Ripple and how they're going to be utilizing XRP, genuinely utilizing XRP, how they're going to be using it within Ripple. Which should be a reassurance for anybody that thought that Ripple is never going to use XRP, or somewhere down the line they might use XRP, or Ripple Payments isn't going to use XRP. All of that is bullshit because they are going to be using XRP even through Ripple Payments. And it's on their website. We also talked about how France is going to be the number one, they're aiming for the number one hub, essentially, to become for artificial intelligence. A lot of countries around the world are trying to become the number one hub for cryptocurrencies. France is trying to aim for becoming the number one hub for artificial intelligence, AI. So I'm definitely going to be updating everybody on AI projects coming out of France because they're going to be funded more by the looks of it. Also, we talked about the New York Stock Exchange Group President Lynn Martin coming out with some facts as well regarding the corporate sector coming heavy-footed inside of the crypto sector essentially. Then we talked about essentially Tradify, traditional finance executives on a panel, 3 major executives on a panel talking about the crypto sector as well, how the corporate sector is loving the idea of this ETF market space. Then we talked about essentially Hong Kong's government and how they're getting stricter on their policies, which is a good thing depending on how you see it, and extremely bullish as well. Then we talked about the Japanese crypto market space, which is why the market slightly dipped today because of a hack that happened in the Japanese market space. Then we talked about Valor Labs, which is an AI project fixated on AI cancer, essentially. Then we talked about Franklin Templeton and how they've recently just filed in their S1 documentations for their ETF, Ethereum ETF. And now we know what the fees are, which is about 0.19% fee. Why is it important to know what the fees are? It's because if we know that the fees are going to be low for the Ethereum ETFs, that means corporates are more likely to go towards it, so more money is going to be coming towards it. So 0.90% fee is good to know. Then we talked about Coinbase and how they've submitted their SEC filings regarding their rebuttal, and they pointed out 4 things that's wrong with the SEC, all of them leading to Gary Gensler's incompetence. Then we talked about Ripple CEO predicting more ETFs are on the way. He said that XRP ETFs are on the way. Solana ETFs are on the way. Cardano ETFs are on the way, according to Ripple CEO. Then we talked about Binance CEO CZ, which was, he's going to prison, which is a sad day for crypto, but a new beginning or a new chapter also for crypto as well. Then we talked about US Senator Wyden, essentially on House rights to pursue crypto bills. Then we talked about Senator Luminous on the SAB 121 repeal, sending a letter to Joe Biden. So we talked about a lot of things on tonight's live show. Things that everybody needs to know about. And I'll post that Ripple document in the CMF Telegram group as well. By the way, we have a CMF Telegram, so this live show that you're watching right now, if you're watching it for the first time ever, you can tune into this live show every single night at this exact same time you're watching it right now, but now is the endings. But 11:25 p.m. onwards, UK time, is when this live show starts. We talk about cryptocurrencies, recent events that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, regulation, politics, because it all plays in together. And we also do Q&As as well, which means if you have any questions, put it down in the comment section. And I read everybody's comments one by one, and I don't leave anybody out. And we also have a Telegram group as well, which is completely free. Everything I do is completely free source. So join the Telegram group as well. The link is in my profile if you're watching us on YouTube or on X. So yeah, if you enjoyed this live show, drop a like on YouTube and subscribe to me on YouTube. If you enjoyed this live show on X, retweet, like, and follow me on X as well. CMF, thank you so much as well. To every single one of you that retweeted this live show and liked this live show on X, and for everyone that's watching on YouTube for liking the live show as well. And thanks so much to everyone that's posted comments on the YouTube videos as well. Genuinely mean it. Thank you so much. It does help to push the video and push the CMF. I think this time last year we were talking about how dodgy they were. Yep, we were. Facts. I was going to say the comment section, I think there was some comments to go through, which was, at the same time, right, there we go, verdict. When is the judge Torres going to give her verdict or the settlement? We're quite close to her giving some sort of a response. When is the case likely to be over this year? I think this bull run is held back by the Ripple settlement. Dazzle, let's go. Wow, Funky Brother, let's go. Ripple are ripping the markets on a different level. Let's go. I think this time last year we were talking about how dodgy they were. USDT, yes. Miles, another great and informative show tonight. Let's go, Scott. We are blessed to be in the family with you. Thank you so much for the kind words, Scott. Good night, Miles, and all CMF. Great bullish news tonight. Thank you for all the news. Let's go, JP. I'm investing with you, Miles. I haven't said it in a while, so I wanted to remind you. Let's go, Scott. Thank you so much. Talk about the BS. I love it, brother. Take care, Miles and family. Ray, see you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. Please excuse my grammatical errors. No problem, Scott. Anytime. Thank you, Miles and CMF. Good night. See you tomorrow. Mike, see you tomorrow, but sometimes usual. Orphans. Thanks, Miles, and have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. Please share this program with your friends and family. Let's go, Scott. Good night, Miles, and all CMF. Emon, see you tomorrow, but sometimes usual. Great live as usual, Miles. Thank you. Good night, Miles and CMF. Jason, see you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. Fantastic live, Miles. Good night, CMF. Let's go, Dazzle. See you tomorrow, but sometimes usual. We have come to the endings of tonight's live show. So, reminder, I sent you a DM. Yes, Scott, I'll check out the DM. Thank you so much to every single one of you that tunes in every single night to CMF. And to everybody that was new as well, welcome to the CMF Live Show. Get some rest, my friend and mental. Let's go, Scott. Good night. Scott, see you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Good night, Miles and family. Funky Brother, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, I'll see you all tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. See you tomorrow.